Will the council meeting of April 2nd, 2026, please come to order? It is 9:04 a.m. Members, if you care to use the word to greet folks today is Privyet. I picked this word, Privyet. Of course, you already know that that's hello in Russian, but Ukraine, also Ukraine. So I'm looking forward to the day when one of you proposes a resolution for us to pass to stop all of these wars. Ms. Clerk.
Chair, would you like to start with the cancellation of Resolution 2650?
Before roll call?
Yeah, just at the start of the meeting.
Okay. What is that again? Cancellation of which one?
Resolution 2650, this is at the request of Councilmember Rollins Fernandez.
Oh, okay. That's right. I thought we were going to do that a little later in the agenda, but that's fine. Any objections, members, to canceling resolution? Well, I am canceling Resolution 26-50, which is celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Protect Kaho'olawe Ohana, because not everyone can attend today, and so it's going to be postponed to a later date. Any objections? As so ordered. Ms. Clerk.
Yep, and thanks, Chair. We will hear that on April 17th on that council agenda.
Okay.
Proceeding with roll call, Councilmember Shane Sinensi.
Aloha kakayaka kako and Privyet.
Councilmember Nohelani Uuhajens.
Aloha, everyone. Privyet.
Councilmember Tom Cook.
Aloha, good morning.
Councilmember Kiani Rollins Fernandez.
Aloha kakahiaka, Chair. There are currently no testifiers at the Molokai District Office. Privyet, and to stop wars, we need to stop the existence of billionaires. Mahalo, Chair.
Councilmember Gabe Johnson.
Oh, okay. Good morning, all. Privyet. A little early in the morning. I have to have my coffee before we go on class warfare, but I'm here for it. Privyet, there's no testifiers at the Lanai District Office, and I'm here and ready to work. Thank you, Chair.
Very good.
Councilmember Tamara Palte.
Aloha kakayaka and Privyet kako.
Vice Chair Yukile Sugimura.
Good morning, Privyet, and I love seeing all these families here in the chamber, so welcome everybody.
Councilmember Kawanoi Batangan.
Aloha and Privyet kako.
Chair Alice Lee.
Privyet.
Chair, there are 9 members present, which means that you have a quorum to conduct the business of the council. For the record, I'm the county clerk, Moana Ludi, and seated next to me is the deputy clerk, Rochelle Thompson. Joining us from our staff, our legislative division staff, Joyce Morishige, Lauren Saldana, Del Yoshida, and Arthur Suyama. Assisting the council with maintaining order and decorum is Council Ambassador Ryan Martins. Joining the meeting from the Office of Council Services is Director David Rotz. And Legislative Attorney, Rochelle Kawasaki, actually, she's the Deputy Clerk the Deputy Director, I'm sorry, thank you, of the Office of Council Services, and from the Department of the Corporation Council is First Deputy Mimi Desjardins.
And opening remarks will be provided by Councilmember Tom Cook.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, all the council members and the audience. As we begin today's meeting, I'd like to reflect on 2 ideas that have been on my mind: the power to dream and the opportunity to turn those dreams into reality. The recent storms we experienced reminds us that these so-called rare disasters are becoming more frequent. Looking back at the last 2 federally declared federal disasters that impacted Kihei were in 2007 and December 2021. In South Maui, portions of South Kihei Road were washed out. Many of our friends and neighbors across the county endured flooding, power outages, significant damages from mud, debris, feeling the effects of relentless and heavy rain. Our recent storms have made it clear that we can no longer afford to delay addressing our community's needs, including the funding and economic planning to make real progress. That really demands not only urgency, but also a deeper sense of collective responsibility to act. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. This quote is by one of my inspirations, Albert Einstein. captures my perspective on the crossroads we face. A buffet of opportunities, as I often say, is a reminder to look beyond the challenges and recognize the breadth of possibilities within them. As a legislator, it underscores the responsibility I carry to seek opportunity, to dream boldly, and hold a clear vision for the future, even when the path forward is uncertain. This mindset of holding on to hope carries me in my work into this year's budget session, a reminder to always be listening deeply, responding thoughtfully, and working collaboratively to create meaningful, lasting impact for the people we represent. Whether we're addressing major infrastructure needs, diversifying our economy, building homes, creating jobs, or investing in community programs, each of these efforts requires careful funding and economic strategy. More importantly, realizing this vision depends on a strong, stable economy, one capable of sustaining long-term growth. Yet this economic pressure is just one example of the broader challenges we face, from the rising cost to the strain on everyday families. As we begin this year's budget deliberations, I urge us to stay mindful of the unique makeup and character of our various districts. Every community contributes vital strength to Maui's county. For instance, South Maui is a primary economic driver and revenue generator that supports services all across our island and county. We must approach these discussions with mutual respect and aloha, recognizing our shared responsibility to keep our government fair and sustainable. My responsibility as a legislator is to ensure our budget decisions are fair, balanced, and supportive of community needs today while securing our future for years to come. I look forward to approaching these discussions with respect and aloha, advancing our shared goals to foster a Maui Nui, where both the island and its people thrive for generations to come. With Easter approaching, I am grateful for the opportunity to serve this community and remain hopeful for a resilient future for Maui County. I wish everyone a productive budget session and a happy Easter. With that said, I look forward to a productive meeting this morning. Thank you for the opportunity to share, and I yield the floor back to the chair.
Thank you, very nice. And now, please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we proceed with today's agenda, may I please request that everyone keep their microphones muted unless it's your turn to speak. As a reminder, testimony must pertain to items on the meeting agenda. When testifying, please direct your remarks to the council and not to any individual council member or member of the public. Each testifier will be allowed to speak for up to 3 minutes on each item. For individuals wishing to testify on Teams, please click the raise your hand button to be added to the testifier log. If you are calling in, please follow the phone prompts to be added to the log. If you wish to testify anonymously, please sign in as anonymous, and you will be given a testifier number. Decorum shall be maintained at all times. Any person who behaves in a manner that disrupts, disturbs, or impedes the orderly conduct of any council meeting can, at the discretion of the presiding officer or a majority of present council members, be ejected or banned from council meetings, or if participating remotely, muted or dropped from the meeting. Examples of disruptive behavior include, but are not limited to, heckling, shouting, use of profanity, threatening or slanderous remarks made to any member of the council, staff, or general public. All meeting attendees, whether online or in person, are expected to wear clothing which should not display profanity, obscenity, or any message that could be considered discriminatory, harassing, or inappropriate for these proceedings. I just want to say, for those of you who have here for the first time, you're wondering why I'm giving these remarks and making this announcement. It's kind of sad because the vast majority of the people who come here are very polite and considerate. but we have a few nutcrackers that come here that don't observe the rules, who are very rude and do things and wear things that are inappropriate. So I know none of this applies to anybody in the audience today. Ms. Clerk, please proceed.
Chair, we're going to begin with ceremonial resolutions. Anyone who would like to testify on the ceremonial resolutions, and I have volunteers today, can testify at this time. Our first testifier is Coach Manley.
So when you come up, please state your name for the record. Thank you.
Aloha, good morning. I'm Randy Manley, coach of Molokai High wrestling team. And I just found out a few minutes ago that I was going to come up here. I want to thank the council for the honor to our champion, Jonah Duduwa. And that's not only an honor for him, it's an honor for Molokai High School. It's an honor for the community of Molokai. And we thank you for that. This is an exciting day. I know their family's very excited. And, you know, my joy has been over the years to work with young men and women like Jonah. Jonah is an example of not just what it takes to be a champion wrestler, but what it takes to be a winner in life. And that's what, you know, our goal is to develop, and not just on the high school level, but we have a club program as well. And our desire is to see these kids graduate. Some of them will go on to higher learning and possibly even collegiate wrestling, but most of them won't. But they'll plug into the community, and we're hoping and praying that the things that they learn through something like a sports program like wrestling will help them to develop into great community leaders and productive in society. So we thank you for your support and encouragement, and for the opportunity to be here this morning. Thank you very much.
You sound like a professional. Very good. Ms. Clark?
Chair, the next testifier is Coach Christian Balagso. And he'll be followed by Coach Shibao. And then Coach Caruso.
Good morning. Thank you guys again for recognizing the state champs. Just shout out to all of them. Nico Takitani, who couldn't make it this morning. Jonah, could have had him at Lahaina Luna. You guys don't know, the Duduwa family, most of them went to Lahaina Luna. I wrestled with his siblings and stuff, so, but proud of him either way, he did it, you know. Winning that state title is not an easy feat, and it was an exciting match. Hard to explain. I've had to coach against him the last few years, and he's always one of the most respectful athletes out there. You know, after the match is done, he always comes over and shakes our hand, shares a few words, and he's a great example of good character, good sportsmanship, and congratulations to him. As for our state champ, Sienna, the headaches we went through with Sienna the last 4 years. She's awesome. She's a 4-time state placer, which is very hard to do, and she's placed top 3 every year. This year was her second trip to the finals, and she made it happen this year, and not only won that match, but dominated it, and super proud of her and excited. And I know she doesn't want to wrestle in college, but I really hope she does. And since you guys are going into budget and go a little bit off topic, you can cut me off, but Lahaina needs a bigger wrestling room for the youth program so that we can get more high schoolers to win. the youth programs need a bigger room. So I know in that CIP there was a field house or something for Lahaina. Let's get that going. So I can teach wrestling to the younger kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Very good.
Chair, the next testifier is Coach Terry Shibao, to be followed by Coach Caruso. Is Coach Caruso not here?
Morning, Council. How you guys doing? Thank you very much for recognizing us. Really appreciate that. You know, Lahaina Luna, we have a really strong wrestling program, plus a really strong community. You know, we're really resilient from whatever happened in the past, and it shows in our community with our kids. You know, that's where it begins. Okay, and I want to congratulate Siana for a very tough season and tough life. You know, to be honest with you guys, I mean, going through all of this and trying to rebuild. To be honest with you guys, in the past few years, it was a really big challenge. I've been part of the wrestling community for over 30 years. Graduated from Lahaina Luna and all that, and the pride in Lahaina. Okay, and even with all these other state champions and kids, that's where it begins, guys. You know, having support from you folks to promote programs that help these kids, even in wrestling or in just regular life, you know, would be real beneficial. I know Coach Christian talked about putting the budget together and having all these things available for us. Yeah, it's really true, because it's very hard, you know, and also, you know, trying to make places where events that can happen, you know, community centers, or even like a memorial. I mean, we need places to hold events for these kids, not only in wrestling, it's in all sports. I speak from all the athletics for Lahaina Luna, but yeah, you know, but I'm very proud of our community and the support that we rallied back together, and we're still rallying, you know, resilience. That's what it is, you know, resilience. And I just want to congratulate all the athletes with all their big accomplishments, and hopefully, you know, all these programs can grow and thrive. And these are fruit of our harvest. So I appreciate you guys' time and efforts. Mahalo.
Terrific. Thank you very much. Who's the next testifier?
Well, I mislabeled Coach Caruso as the person in the light blue shirt next to Christian and Coach Manley. Yes, I meant you.
Thank you.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you, council members. I had planned to just observe today, but my athlete was not able to make it. He needed to stay in class. So thank you on behalf of Nigo Takatani. If the kids come up, he won't be coming up, but thank you on behalf of him. And I do want to say ditto for Coach Manley and the other coaches, because are those things that need to be said and heard. The sport demands resilience and demands commitment and demands family support and demands community support, and everyone's doing a great job with that. So thank you very much for recognizing them, for having these resolutions, and for your continued support that we look forward to. And congratulations to Jonah and Siana. You guys, great job. You deserve it. Thank you, everyone.
And thank you.
Chair, the next testifier is Siana Boaz Vasquez. She'll be followed by Jonah Duduwa.
Aloha and good morning, everyone. My name is Siana Vasquez. I'm a senior at Lahaina Luna High
Get a
School.
little closer to the mic. Yeah, thanks.
First off, I wanted to begin by saying thank you for this recognition. I'm so grateful to be given the time and opportunity to express my gratitude. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Heavenly Father for paving my way through this journey. I'd like to thank my family, teammates, coaches, and my community for helping me build the foundation in the sport. Been given the opportunity to earn my first high school state title as a senior has been one of my biggest and greatest blessings yet. This achievement is more than just a title, but also a resemblance of hard work and drive that I've earned, that I've carried both on and off the mat. This season has shaped me and challenged me a lot, but the struggles only made my win that much more meaningful and worth it. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm truly grateful to have ended my season with such a big success, and I'm grateful for the sport and the impact it's had on my life. And again, mahalo for your time, and thank you.
Thank you and congratulations. Ms. Clark.
The next testifier is Jonah Duduwa, and we have a whole bunch of members of the Duduwa family here, and I was going to call on Jesse, but when I pointed at him, he ran. So I don't know where he went. There's also Marcus. I can't see him. Okay, he's next.
Hello, good morning. Thank you guys for your guys' time. I just want to thank my coaches, my dad, my family, and my Molokai community, and Nakamura Wrestling, and going off of what Coach Dan was saying about trying for get better facilities at Molokai. That's what they need. Something that where kids can learn more, and because we're just small, community small, we just need something better gyms over there. And yeah, thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you very much and congratulations.
Our last testifier, Chair, is Jesse Duduwa. I see him.
And he is the dad or the coach?
He's a coach.
A coach.
But I don't know, is he also dad? He's both. He's both. I was going to call you too, Marcus, but okay.
Aloha, good morning.
Aloha.
I just like to mahalo you guys for recognizing these athletes. They work hard, dedicate their lives for at least 3 months out of the year to reach the top. And yeah, shucks. I lived in a Lahaina community also, and all my kids graduated from Lahaina Luna. And so we part of the Lahaina Luna community too, so we intertwine with each other. But yeah, Sienna had to really work hard, and to see what she did after this last struggling like 2.5 years was a big accomplishment for her. And then Jonah really worked hard. He too was a 4-time state placer. The last few years, things never bounced our way. We came up a little short, but this year, seeing the time and dedication he put in, he really deserved that championship. Reflecting back on our Molokai community, we can use some of you guys' support, because being that we're from Molokai, to come here and travel off island every time to compete with the best, we face challenges. So we can use you guys' support there in helping us travel, accommodations and whatnot. But once again, thank you guys, and mahalo for your time.
Thank you. I'm so glad that Moana twisted your arm to come say something. You did a great job.
Thank you. I don't have any other volunteers. But if there's anyone else who would like to testify, and I see Mr. Law making his way to the podium.
E ho'omaikai ana I nā mea hākoko e kulu mai. The Interscholastic League, Mai no ke eo ana aka makela kula ia la ko maka o kuku kahului moku aina o Texaco HHSAA 2026. If I said any bad words, Chair Lee, it's the OEV Resources Department that we have to thank for the translation of the Olelo Hawaiian agenda.
Okay, thank you. Any more testifiers?
Yep. This is last call for anyone who'd like to testify on the ceremonial resolutions. It doesn't look like I have anyone else, Chair.
Members, are there any objections to closing public testimony and accepting written testimony into the record on ceremonial resolutions? So ordered, Ms. Clerk.
Chair, before you is Resolution 2664, congratulating the 3 wrestlers from the Maui Interscholastic League for winning gold at the 2026 Texaco HHSAA State Wrestling Championship.
Member Paulton.
Thank you, Chair. I move to adopt Resolution 26-64.
Second.
Moved by Member Paulton, seconded by Member Rollins Fernandez to adopt Resolution 2664. Discussion. Member Paulton.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to request that the clerk please read the resolution in its entirety.
Ms. Clerk.
Chair, before you is Resolution number 2664, congratulating the 3 wrestlers from the Maui Interscholastic League for winning gold at the 2026 Texaco HHSAA State Wrestling Championship. Whereas Siana Boaz Vasquez of Lahaina Luna High School, Jonah Dudawa of Molokai High School, and Nico Takitani of HP Baldwin High School captured gold medals in their respective weight classes at the 2026 Texaco HHSAA State Wrestling Championship Tournament on February 27th to 28th, 2026 at the Neil S. Blaisdell Arena in Honolulu, Hawaii. And whereas these outstanding student athletes represented Maui County at the state tournament after winning the Maui Interscholastic League Championships on February 14th, 2026 at Kamehameha Schools, Maui. And whereas Lahaina Luna High School senior Siana Boaz Vasquez captured the girls' 140-pound weight class state title by dominating her opponent with a score of 18-5. And whereas Siana Boaz Vasquez concludes her high school wrestling career as a 4-time MIL champion and 4-time state placer. And whereas Molokai High School senior Jonah Dudawa secured the boys' 126-pound weight class title in a hard-fought match, winning by a score of 4-3. And whereas Jonah Dudawa has become the first male wrestler from Molokai High School to win a state title since 2005, breaking the Farmers' 21-year drought. And whereas Jonah Dudawa concludes his high school wrestling career as a 2-time MIL champion and 4-time state placer. And whereas HP Baldwin High School senior Nico Takitani triumphed in the boys' 165-pound weight class with an exciting 5-2 score in overtime. And whereas Nico Takitani concludes his high school wrestling career as a 2-time MIL champion and 3-time state placer. And whereas with the support and guidance of their dedicated coaches, Terry Shibao and Christian Balagso of Lahaina Luna High School, Randy Manley and Kavika Ka'ahanui of Molokai High School, and Kevin Grant of HP Baldwin High School, these champions have attained glory and excellence in wrestling through commitment and hard work. And whereas the exceptional performance, dedication, and spirit of these phenomenal student athletes have brought great pride and honor to their ohana, schools, and people of the County of Maui, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the County of Maui, 1, that it congratulates Siana Boaz Vasquez of Lahaina Luna High School and Jonah Dudawa of Molokai High School and Nico Takitani of HP Baldwin High School for winning gold at the 2026 Texaco HHSAA State Wrestling Championship. And 2, that certified copies of this resolution be transmitted to Siana Boaz Vasquez of Lahaina Luna High School, Jonah Dudawa of Molokai High School, and Nico Takitani of HP Baldwin High School, Terry Shibao and Christian Malagso, co-head wrestling coaches, Lahaina Luna High School, Randy Manley and Kavika Ka'ahanui, co-head wrestling coaches, Molokai High School, Kevin Grant, head wrestling coach, HP Baldwin High School, Richard Caroso, principal, Lahaina Luna High School, Katina Suarez, principal, Molokai High School, Keone Wilhelm, principal, HP Baldwin High School, Joseph Belangi Tao Jr., executive director, Maui Interscholastic League, Christian Chun, executive director, Hawaii High School Athletic Association, and the Honorable Richard T. Bisson, Jr., Mayor, County of Maui.
Discussion. Member Paulton.
Thank you, Chair. This year, again, the Lahaina Luna Women's Wrestling won the MIL, and it's a comeback, from after 2023, we had a lot of other things going on, and we have a really young team still at Lahaina Luna on the comeback, so this is just the first of many more wrestling state champs to come for us. And like the testifier said, Molokai and Lahaina have a strong ties, whether it's fires, floods, Duduas, Vasquez, all of the above. And I'm so happy to be able to share this moment with Molokai and Lahaina, and it's unfortunate that Nico couldn't be here, but schooling is important as well, so we wish him the best, and thank you so much, members, for joining us and congratulating wrestlers. Wrestling is one of the hardest sports. It's a team sport, but at the end of the day, it's just you and your opponent on the mat, and it's gonna show whether you put in those hours practicing or not, because you have no one to rely on but yourself, and only you know if you put in the time and the work, and in this case, it really did pay off for our wrestlers. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Member Rollins-Fernandez?
Mahalo, Chair, and mahalo, Member Polton, for introducing the resolution. And ho'omaikai to our student athletes, Siana, Jonah, and Nico, to their coaches and families. Mahalo to you, students, for investing in yourselves, the coaches for pouring their time and talent into our students year after year. As the coaches shared in testimony, wrestling and all sports are opportunities to develop oneself. It takes time, discipline, and drive, and there's nothing like learning in the doing, makahana ka'ike, managing the pressure of competition, navigating the wins, the losses, the highs, the lows, and learning to breathe through it. As stated, all the different connections. Molokai and Lahaina has such a strong connection. For me personally, as you know, my dad is a graduate of Lahaina Luna. My uncle Yamas has worked there forever. And so seeing, being able to congratulate students from both Lahaina and Molokai is a wonderful opportunity. I couldn't agree more about facilities and supporting that as an investment in our youth. And we're getting closer. For Molokai, we just need the land to build the facilities. So please sign up for a Molokai Heritage Trust so that we can complete all of that and move that forward so that we can get facilities mauka of the Slarexa sea level rise area. Mahalo again, and ho'omaikai to you all. Mahalo, Chair.
Anyone else? Member Paulton again?
Thank you. Sorry, second and final. I just wanted to invite everybody, not just when you get a ceremonial resolution, but always come and tell us what your needs are, because if we don't know, then we can't make the plans. So we're here all day, every day, pretty much for the next month, minus the holidays. So if you think of any other needs in the community, no shame, come tell us. Thank you.
And we will be at the Lahaina Civic Center on Thursday, April 9th, our budget committee, as well as on Molokai Metropolitan Center on April 13th.
Thank you for that
6
public
p.m.
relations announcement.
And Central, April 16th, 6 p.m. right here.
Okay. Well, we'll give you Member Paulton's phone number so you can call her day or night, don't matter. Any more discussion? Vice Chair Sugimura.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for bringing this resolution forward. We did know that your Christian is a
golden saint in this wrestling world. So thank you for your speech also. I just wanted to commend Baldwin High School also, and Nico, you're not here, and I guess you're doing the things that you need to do besides this well-deserved achievement. And I want to just thank all the parents, because I just know that in order for the child to go forward, you know, it takes a whole family to make the sacrifices and scheduling and all the things that you need to do and make them study, right? Also, it's not only sports that makes a champion. So thank you very much. Congratulations to Nico Takitani and Baldwin High School, as well as everybody else.
And
that's been
Molokai High
honored today.
School.
Yeah, Molokai and Lahaina Luna. Wonderful. Thank you.
All right, anybody else? If not, ready to vote? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
A 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Very good. Can we ask you to come down and take a picture with us, please? Coaches, family, of course, the wrestlers.
I can do her phone. You want me to do that? Test. Meeting in recess for 10 minutes till 9:53.
Will the council meeting of April 2nd, 2026, please reconvene, Ms. Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I understand you wanted to take unfinished business out of order. Should we go ahead and call up testimony on the unfinished business?
Yes, any objections to bringing up the unfinished business? Okay, Ms. Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. I'm calling for testimony on the unfinished business. That is Bill 34. The first to testify is Keola Whitaker, to be followed by Housing Director Richard Mitchell.
Aloha Chair, aloha members. It's good to see all of you. My name is Keola Whitaker. I'm here representing Kamalani Ventures. And happy Holy Week. Happy Maundy Thursday to those who celebrate. So this is a very straightforward issue. It's just a refund for an overpayment. So I'll just give you a little bit of background because I know there was some questions. Under Chapter 2.96 and a recorded workforce housing agreement signed by both Kamalani and the county in 2015, Kamalani was required to build 115 affordable units. They built 170, which is 55 more than required. And the agreement said that you get one transferable credit for every one you go over the 115. So it was 55 credits, yeah. So those extra units couldn't be sold to income qualified buyers going through the county's required selection process and timeframe at the time in 2015. And then the law required at that time that after that timeframe, those units go to market rate. So that's what happened. So when they go to market rate to get those credits, Kamalani had to pay the county 50% of the difference between the market rate and the affordable rate. And so they made those payments to the county, and they filed annual reports documenting everything. So the county, Kamalani ended up paying the county over $676,000 in total, and in return was expecting 55 transferable workforce housing credits. The credits were never delivered because there was a disagreement over what the law said at the time. So they went through several years of figuring out whether they're going to get those transferable credits, and they didn't. So then they said, okay, instead of arguing over whether we get those transferable credits, why don't we just resolve the issue and you just give us a refund for the 55 units that we paid. So we calculated that, and that's $234,050. That's the amount the county's records confirm corresponds to the undelivered credits. So I was thinking about this morning, and I think it's kind of like going to Foodland, buying 5 musubi. They say, oh, we only get 2. So you say, you go back to the till and you get the refund for the 3 you never got. It's the same thing going on here. So I just wanted to also let you know that Chapter 2.96 has been updated since 2015. So this will never happen again. There's a tightening of the credit requirements. So now to get credits, they actually do have to be deed restricted, which was not the law at the time that this happened. And I know this is an old issue about an old law, but we've been working with the county. Oh, my time just went away. Did something happen? Okay. So we've just been working with the county in a cooperative spirit, basically since 2021 to get this resolved. Remy's department put me through the ringer, required lots of information. My math was a little off. They corrected my math, and I agree with them. So now I think we're all in agreement on the amount that's owed. Thank you.
Any questions, members? Yes. Rollins Fernandez.
Mahalo, Chair. You said the plan is no questions. So I have one question for you. Is the plan, like, we're taking this, are we recommitting? Because I would like to ask questions, like committee kind questions. Like, I want to see the math, and I want to see the work that they all did so can we have that discussion?
I have a copy of the spreadsheets that we put together of the overpayments, and I went through that with the department, with Corporation Counsel, with the Department of Finance, and everyone agrees on that number. I'm happy to show you. I have them with me today. I have to show you the spreadsheets. They just show what the unit was, with the affordable rate, the market rate, the difference, what was paid to the county, and then you just look at the last 55, and that's how we calculated it.
Okay, 1 second. Madam Clerk, can you remind me why we moved this item up to the front? Does somebody have to catch a flight or something?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. That's the
Not
reason.
me. I don't have a flight to catch
No,
this time.
no, I know.
I'll take the
This is-
blame. It's me. I have to catch a flight. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to Honolulu for Good
So
Friday.
I'm saying, we're not doing this, to just rush it through. We're doing it because of the time constraints.
Mahalo, Chair. I understand that we are, moving it up on the agenda. I'm asking that we do what Member Batangan encouraged us to do and follow our rules and send it to committee and talk about it there.
You want this back in committee?
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. That's 2 people out of 9.
Oh, but we got to finish
let's-
testimony. Sorry, I jumped in the gun.
Yeah, let's see if Mr. Whitaker or the Director of Housing can shed more light on this as to why it's not needed to go back to committee.
Sure. Thank you, Chair. It's reviewing the reviewers. So I had communication with Mimi for about a year. I had a communications with Remy's department for over a year, really since he started in the role. And we went through this multiple times. And like I said, they put me through the ringer. We looked at the spreadsheets together. We talked to the Department of Finance, confirmed each payment, confirmed the amounts. I have the spreadsheets with me. I can show you that if you want to look at it on a break. But again, we just took the last 55 and we calculated it. And their department did a great job reviewing and being very thorough.
Can we take a turn at putting him through the ringer?
Spoken like a true county worker. Well, I'm thinking right now, there's really no need to send this back to committee. If anything, we could delay passage of this because it's second reading. Yeah. So, because if it's just a couple of you that need information, they could just give it to you. And then you take the time to read it over. And then if you have questions, you can check with them and so forth before the next meeting. Yes, Remy, would you have something to add?
I'll continue to be here if you have any more questions.
Chair, the next testifier is Housing Director Remy Mitchell.
Morning, Chair, morning, members, and thank you for the opportunity to add just a little bit. Keola, thank you for the overview. After the first reading, we requested that second reading be canceled in order for the department to respond to all the questions that we received during first reading. It took us over 4.5 days to go through all the documents and compile them. We provided a 13, 14-page description of all the details. There's probably 9 or 10 attachments, including all the spreadsheets. So we provided that on March 12th. And I think we've given the council all the background information. It's already in your possession. There's a lot of work that's been done to confirm just the calculation. But more importantly, the policy issues to be addressed, I think, should be discussed separately, but the reimbursement is straightforward. I think we should move this along just on the reimbursement issue. It's been kicked around since approximately 2019. And we've done an enormous amount of work at a very tight time of the year in order to address all the questions that the council has asked. And so if there are any questions about what we've submitted, including all the spreadsheets, we'll gladly answer those. Thank you.
Member Rollins-Fernandez.
Mahalo, Chair. There were questions that were asked. I'm not asking them right now, but we asked them in committee, and there is going to be a follow-up on that. And so is there a reason that, we can't take it up in committee after budget?
What I'm suggesting, Member Rawlings, and thank you for the question, is that the reimbursement portion is separate from the policy portion. I don't disagree that there are some policy discussions to be had, but the department has done an enormous amount of work to address just the math to make sure we're consistent with what the law required. but we recognize their policy concerns. And what we're asking is that we separate the two in order to move this on the reimbursement part, but certainly we can come back and discuss policy issues.
Mahalo, Director. I understand the math, and I understand that there was some incorrect math and that there was some discussion about the policy that led to correction of math and how we arrived at the numbers that we arrived at. I understand that there's also some separate policies that we discussed in committee that may or may not be relevant to what we're talking about for Bill 34. I heard Mr. Whitaker say that he's spent a year plus on this with you and our attorneys, and we didn't get that time to get all of our answers, all of our questions answered. And so I'd like to have that time too. I think we were.
So if I may add, I'm under the impression that the members do have my memo dated March 12th with all the attachments. Am I not correct with that?
Let's double check. David?
I don't know. Did you email it to me?
It was requested following the BFED meeting. We received two
is it on
letters from
Granicus? Or is it
BFED
posted
chair.
to Granicus?
Just double check on
We responded to
Granicus.
all those questions, provided all the attachments in March 12th. So it wasn't sent to council, it was sent in response to BFED chair's request, but it was sent presumably to all the members.
Point of order, Chair.
Yes, remember?
I have concerns with us having discussion during testimony because we're giving specific individuals more time to present their views than we would others. Can I ask that we finish public testimony and then call back the department for deliberations?
Okay. I don't think we're exactly deliberating. I think we're trying to get clarification.
Okay. I guess
Yeah.
to that point, I did receive it. I saw the departments. So I at least know, I think it was distributed to all of us.
Okay.
But I think my comment still stands. I do worry that we're giving undue time to specific testifiers.
Yeah. We're not trying to. We're just trying to get, certain things cleared up. And like we moved this last item to the front of the calendar because it is time sensitive. So it is not your usual item. Yeah.
No, I agree. I'm just talking about the order of business here. I would prefer to finish public testimony and then call them back to ask additional questions because these are not clarifying.
Well, I think some of them are. Member Rollins Fernandez.
Mahalo, Chair. I agree with you and Member Batangan as well. I don't believe we're giving necessarily more time. We give folks 3 minutes to, do their testimony, and then we generally don't time ourselves in how long it takes to ask a question and then receive the response. And we try to only have clarifying questions and then ask resources to come back, when the item comes up if they're available. So I'm happy to, stop my questions for now until we bring the item back so that we can close public testimony.
Okay.
Mahalo, Chair.
Right. Did you have anything else to add right now?
Nothing else, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Clerk, next testifier.
Chair, looks like J.C. Law is making his way to the podium.
Yeah, it's thank you, Mr. Batangan, for following the rules. In my life, what I've experienced is you can make all the rules, but there's always something you didn't think about. And it sounds to me like Mr. Mitchell is putting his, I wouldn't say sticking his neck on the line, but it's his job on the line. I really trust that guy. I've seen him in action. And at the same time, I hate to go against Councilor Rollins Fernandez because,
Okay,
yeah.
Mr. Law.
So what I'm saying
Getting
is,
to the rules, which agenda item are you speaking on? And you need to address that one.
Kuleana I ho'oko ole ia. Pila Helu 34. And yeah, what he said, I'm all for Mr. Mitchell. And I recognize the reluctance of some of the council members wanting to put their stamp on this too, but yeah, I'm leaning towards Mr. Mitchell. He's always been, he's doing a good job, and we're coming to the point here where we got to start making things happen instead of just stalling and saying, well, we got to follow the rules and this and that and the other thing. We're going to follow Hawaii rules.
Any questions, members? If not, thank you. Any more testifiers?
Yes, Chair, the next testifier is Christopher Salem.
Morning, council members. I'm just checking to see, is my microphone unmuted?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't prepared this morning to speak on this issue, which just came up, but I would absolutely agree that what has just taken place is far beyond acceptable, specifically in situations of testimony. We should all be treated equally, and certainly that has not been the case under your authority. So moving on to the agenda items. Let me get to that, please. First item I'd like to speak to is...
Excuse me, Mr. Salem, we're only taking testimony on Bill 34 at this time, and we'll open it up for general testimony after this item.
You're only taking testimony on Bill 34, which we're referring to. Okay, so you're saying that testimony on the other items will be before each item is called? There seems to be a slippery slope as well as how you folks handle this, but go ahead.
This is the only item under the unfinished business section. So we're taking that up at this point, and then following this item under unfinished business, we're moving on to general testimony on the remainder of the agenda items. Or you can testify at the actual time that the ordinance is called. Ordinances, that section.
That's helpful. Thank you so much. I'll wait until the appropriate time.
Thank you. We will transfer your name to the general testimony section. Chair, the
Appreciate that.
Sure. The next testifier is Jim Langford. And Mr. Langford, this is just testimony on Bill 34.
Yes, absolutely. Could you shift me to the latter list, please? That would be lovely. And I emailed some testimony in to the clerk.
Certainly, we'll do that. Thank you. Chair, at this time, there's no one else signed up to testify on the unfinished business, so we'll go ahead and give last call for any testimony.
Could you just repeat again so everybody out there who is actually listening will follow your directions with regard to testimony on Bill 34?
Yes, Chair, thank you. This is last call for testimony only on the unfinished business section of the agenda, and that is item, it's Bill 34. So giving last call for that section. Following the close of consideration of this item, we'll move back to testimony on any item on the agenda. So, Chair, I see no one raising their hand in teams or making their way to the podium. Excuse me, Mr. Law, you've already had your opportunity. So,
I heard you just say anything on the agenda.
no, we're closing only on unfinished business, and then after this item is completed, we'll go on to general testimony. So we'll put your name down for that section. Chair, there's no one else indicating they wish to testify on Bill 34, the item of unfinished business. So we'll count down 3, 2, 1. There's no one else to testify.
Any objections to closing public testimony and accepting written testimony on the unfinished business listed on today's agenda? No objections, so ordered. Ms. Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. Before you is Bill 34, 2026, a bill for an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2026 budget, Appendix A, Part 2, Affordable Housing Fund, adding conditional language for repayment of Kamalini Ventures, LLC.
Vice Chair Sugimura.
Thank you, Chair. I move to pass Bill 3426 on second and final reading.
Moved by Vice Chair Sugimura, seconded by Member Cook, to pass Bill 34 on second and final reading. Discussion, Vice Chair Sugimura.
Thank you. This bill prompted a lot of discussion at our last meeting, and I appreciate the questions that were raised Since then, the Director of Housing submitted testimony to address those questions and explain the department's further review. Plus, we heard from Kayla Whitaker, which I think that was very, all his research. We really appreciate what he said. Based on that testimony and the way the code is written, it appears that the developer is owed the funds, and if there are more policy things we need to take up, we can take it up at another time, as I'm trying to split the two. But in this case, I'm recommending to pass this bill on second and final reading.
Any further discussion? Member Cook.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, this project is kind of infamous for the way that it was handled by the developer. The policies were changed subsequently afterwards. I think that the Housing Department has done due diligence. If Corp Counsel, Finance, and the Housing Department have all reviewed it and come to a conclusion that this is the appropriate step, that we've heard it once, I think it's appropriate that we vote on this and move on and continue to focus on our policies to make sure that the affordability intent and implementation meets with our community guidelines to minimize speculation and to have as many local homes built as possible.
All right, any more discussion? Member Paulton.
Thank you. I, regardless of if this passes today or not, I'm in favor of having the policy discussion. Is there a chair that would commit to that?
HLU?
Thank you for asking. I'm just actually going over some of the communication that was sent over from Director Mitchell, because I wasn't at the BFED meeting. And I did read in one of the paragraphs that he and I have been talking about some of the things in 2.96, that the last time we did 2.96, we didn't really address because they were pretty brand new, and this is some of the conversation. The department has a couple things they would like to see changed. I think Mr. Whitaker said that this is no longer applicable anymore in 2.96, so thankfully we don't have to deal with this problem. But I'm happy to have the conversation about policy in HLU, yes.
Thank you. And then I just also wanted to further add for my discussion, you know, in light of this, and I'm aware of our current director's policy of trying to not let things flip out of affordability or go up the ladder, like move from 80% and below to the next of like 100% and below and like that. And so I am working on another legislation for the fee waivers. I don't think under Director Mitchell, those will flip out of affordability, but in case we have another director down the line, working on legislation, if it does flip out of affordability, for the waivers to be returned, the monetary waivers to be returned to the county. So definitely it's a big policy discussion that I look forward to having in committee. Thank you.
Member Johnson, then Member Rollins-Fernandez.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, to separate the policy from the bills, or the money owed. I support us paying our bills, of course. The policy, though, this is just another great example why Bill 111 should be implemented as soon as possible. Moving forward, I really don't want this to happen again. I just would really hope the administration would administer that bill. So it's just me once again pushing for Bill 111. Thank you, Chair.
Member Rollins-Fernandez.
Mahalo, Chair. Yeah, so I do have Director Mitchell's correspondence dated March 12th that I received on March 31st. After all the storms and everything. So I did not have an opportunity to review that. So one, I did contact OCS, and they do have it posted under the committee item on Granicus for public access to that information. I would also like it posted to the testimony at this meeting so that it'll be easier for the record for folks doing research to understand how this decision was made. And then I have a question about the spreadsheets. So the spreadsheets are not included in the transmittal that we received. And it was offered by Mr. Whitaker, so I don't know if, I guess the question is like, is that confidential? Can it be posted to testimony as well so that the public can view that for full transparency? And then I'd also like clarification from our attorneys,
David?
First Deputy Corp Counsel.
Oh,
So we had Director of Housing and our Corp Counsel working with Mr. Whitaker on the numbers and how they made the decision. And then if everyone has seen the spreadsheet that was referenced in testimony by Mr. Whitaker.
Okay, regarding the spreadsheets, first, David, were they attached? Isn't that what you're asking?
Oh, yeah, so, or if you're asking if OCS received it from Director Mitchell, we could ask Director Mitchell if he sent it.
Well, then you asked if it was posted.
Oh, you did send it? The spreadsheet? Oh, okay.
Okay, so then now Corp Counsel, Ms. Desjardins.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Can I get verification from the Housing Director were the spreadsheets sent to Corporation Counsel?
Because in the email on March 31st from OCS, I don't see any spreadsheets attached to the transmittal.
Thank you, Chair, for the question. Yes, we have 9 or 10 attachments, one of which are all the spreadsheets. There are a lot of documents, so I'm not entirely sure why our transmission, which included the spreadsheets and all the other supporting documents, have not made it to you. If in fact that's happened, I don't know what happened once we transmitted them, but we gave you all the spreadsheets.
Okay, I'll look on Granicus as well. The email that I received was not there.
I just need to know whether they were transmitted to Corporation Counsel and perhaps to somebody who handles housing, because I personally have not seen them.
When we submitted our transmission, the letter along with all the attachments, they were routed through the mayor's office to then be submitted to committee.
Okay.
So I'm not entirely sure after they've left our hands where the attachments are, but they should have been with the transmittal as well. But it's a lot of supporting documents. If we need to resubmit those attachments, we'll definitely do that.
Okay, Chair, let me just give a very quick background. This has been going on for a very long time, okay? So it's not a situation that was created by Mr. Whitaker or by our housing director. We have done our best to try to resolve it. But let me tell you what my involvement and my personal recollection of this is. The housing credits were not provided to Kamalani because they did not fulfill the number of excess affordable units that they originally said that they were going to, because the units did not sell at affordable rates. I assisted the housing director at the time, Ms. Suhako, in drafting a letter to the council for Kamalani at that time, indicating to them they were not going to receive credits. And I went back recently and I found that letter and verified that. That letter went out back, I want to say 2022. Now, this overpayment, my understanding, the overpayment was born out of 2.96090 paren 4, which was that Kamalani overpaid because of the fact that they then had an obligation to pay us 50% of the difference between where those those affordable units actually sold at market rate and what AMI they were supposed to sell at. Okay, that was my recollection. Not anything having to do with 55 credits, what Mr. Whitaker has represented. And no, I'm not dissing Mr. Whitaker's recollection, because like I said, this has been going on for a while. I just want to be clear that our department did not have anything to do with the calculation of this overpayment amount. But that was my recollection, was that overpayment was related to those units not selling at affordable rates. If I'm incorrect about that, great. But that was my recollection, was that they did sell those at market. And then there was an overpayment.
Core Counsel, okay. It appears right now that the majority of this group seems to want to separate the issue, seems to want to take on the more complicated housing policy of the past and present in a separate manner in committee. We are just focusing right now on the financial aspect of this matter. And so if you disagree with it or agree with it, I mean, that's all we need to know. Because apparently there is agreement with the housing department and the attorney. So now they're asking if you agree with their conclusions or not.
Real quick, Chair.
Well, wait. They're not asking for my agreement with their conclusions. They're saying that I was involved in coming to that conclusion, and I just want to be clear that I wasn't involved in that conclusion. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, because, for 1 second. The thing here is we need to decide whether the financial part is correct or not. We don't need to revive and relitigate all the issues surrounding the old 2.96 versus new 2.96 plus what it should be in the future. That's an entirely different discussion. All we're doing is, are these people entitled to this reimbursement or not?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, but you do, in a sense, have to talk about it a little bit because this happened so long ago that the old version of 296 was in existence when they came up with these numbers. That's why I bring it up. All I'm saying is, you want to rely on their numbers, that's fine, but just be real clear that you can't represent that the Department of Corporation Counsel helped come up with those figures when we did not. That's all I'm trying to say, Chair. Thank you.
All right, fine.
Chair.
Yes.
So in committee, the separate topic that wasn't really relevant to the numbers was the mortgage steering discussion. So that's the issue that doesn't affect this. As far as what 2.96 policy was at that time is very relevant because then that's how we arrive at the numbers that we arrive at. And so I know some of my colleagues, sometimes care if our attorneys sign bills. And right now, our attorney is saying she didn't review the numbers. So I don't feel comfortable passing this. Chair, it sounded like there was resistance on recommitting this so that we don't do this level of committee work in council meeting. And my preference would be to wait until, budget session is over so that we can have a full discussion and give our attorneys that time to review the numbers. Because she's telling us right now she didn't review it. So that would be my preference. And if all I can get is pausing this today and postponing it to the next council meeting, I mean, that's all I could take because I would not want to pass this today. I think that would be irresponsible. Madam Chair.
Member Johnson.
Thank you, Chair. Deputy Corporation Counsel's description was clear as mud to me, so it sounds to me that this should go back to committee. And we have HLU chair saying she's willing to take it on, so.
Yeah, I know, but not now.
You mean, what do you mean not now? Like,
we have budget.
Right, after budget.
Yeah.
That's what she said, so. It's getting more, it's hard to separate them when we have to explain why. You see what I mean? Like, that's what Deputy Corporation Counsel was saying is she had to bring up the policy to explain why. So I don't want to, again, relitigate the old 2.96, but definitely there seems to be a good point of discussion, and here we are discussing whether or not to discuss it, and we're discussing that. So send it back to HLU. She seems to be on board. I'm on board with that. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, that's not my preference, because these questions could have been brought up earlier, and they weren't. And whether or not Corp Counsel was part of the discussion is not beyond our control. The whole point is, they said this started back in 2019. Yeah. So can we do anything to expedite it, to move it forward, is something that I would like to discuss. Yes, but, there is a vote on the floor. There is a motion on the floor, and usually, if there's 5, we go forward, and if not, we do something else, okay? So, yes.
Yeah, thanks. Chair, Ms. Milner is going to log on or come down, and I would like to take a quick recess and get a hold of Deputy Rigglesworth, because she did sign off on the budget amendment, and if she has some information that I'm not privy to, I'd like to know, and then I can let you know what she knows. And that might resolve it, but
okay.
I just was concerned when I heard Mimi was part of this. I just needed you to know, what the facts were.
And we understand. They thought you were, and maybe somebody else, some other deputy was. Yes. Member
Thank you.
Hodgins.
Before we go into recess, can then we just see the spreadsheet so we can get straight to it? I am reading the correspondence provided to us by Housing Director in the letter dated March 12th. You are mentioned, Mimi, on page 4 through 5, requesting the spreadsheets and going back and forth. I'm kind of confused, as is Director Mitchell, that once he sends it over and then it just doesn't come to us, which is clearly an issue right now, but I'll be happy to see the spreadsheets before we go into recess if that's what we're planning to do. But it does look like there's correspondence from late 24. So, a million things have happened since then, and a million things happened before then. So I don't blame anybody for losing track of this, because again, this has been going on for years and years and years and years and years, and so many things have been thrown into the mix. But can we please get the spreadsheets before we go into recess?
Okay, if you don't mind, Mr. Mitchell did raise his hand. Okay, we're letting you talk because we keep talking about you, so you have a right to defend yourself.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, members. And don't be worried, I don't feel like I'm defending myself. We tried our best to provide an enormous amount of information over a number of years as succinctly as possible. If you take a look at the memo on page 4, on July 23rd, 21, it says, Deputy Corporation Counsel Desjardins advised Mr. Kiefer that the county's position on housing credits remained the same. That is, no credits for unsold residential workforce housing units, acknowledged A and B's apparent overpayment to the county, and inquired on whether Mr. Kiefer wanted to discuss how to calculate the refund. If you take a look at the July 3rd, 2024 entry, it says, Mr. Whitaker emailed Deputy Corporation Counsel Desjardins, attached is a spreadsheet of sales for the Kamalani units. I added up the
Mr.
payments
Mitchell,
made
Mr. Mitchell,
to-
okay, thanks.
And so my point here is, there are lots of communications about the spreadsheets before we did our final calculation, our being the Department of Housing. When we took those same spreadsheets, we did our calculation and reduced it by an additional $500. So we scrubbed the spreadsheets. We checked the sales of each of the units.
Okay, but my point is, I understand what you're saying, what you're doing, but we can't expect the Deputy Corporation Counsel to remember what happened 5-6 years ago,
Yes, Chair, I understand that. That's why I was as detailed as reasonably could be in the transmittal, going through years of emails.
Right, so we're going to take a short recess, and how much time do you think you need?
Yeah, Chair.
Yes.
So in this very concise transmittal from Director Mitchell, it does reference each attachment and what it's about, and just has like the real relevant part with dates, timeline on everything. And so I don't know, OCS did confirm that they did not receive these attachments referenced in the memo. I would, at minimum, like to get the spreadsheet, and we would need to receive the spreadsheet from Mr. Whitaker if he can give it to, I don't know if it needs to be copied before or how we get that.
I feel like this is taking so long. We should just recommit and move on because we got plenty work to do, places to go. We got Paia tonight. I mean, inordinate amount of time.
Okay, essentially, it's one person. It's one person is asking all these questions. No, really. No, really.
There's no attachments.
No, if the other people wanted to take a vote, would you stop that?
I wouldn't vote without the information that they said they provided that wasn't provided.
Well, for some people, it might be necessary. For other people, it's not.
Okay, let's take a vote then. Because, I mean, it says there's attachments and there's not attachments. So whatever they said they were transmitting wasn't transmitted. And
if you didn't get the attachment, you should have notified Office of Council Services.
I didn't even get the email. I was dealing with flooding in my district.
I know, we're all busy.
I'm not busy. It's like the state created temp housing that was flooding Hawaiian Homes.
Yeah, I realize that, but what I'm saying is
Lives
not,
were at
this is not top of mind for every single person. So again, members, and I want to talk about the majority, don't be afraid to speak up. We have the opportunity to take a recess and get the information and distribute it. We have the opportunity to vote, continue on with the vote. We have the opportunity to separate the items, to vote on this today, now, and then take up the policy portion of this item and have Member Hodgins take it up in her committee at the appropriate time. So can I hear from other members what you'd like to do? Vice Chair Sugimura.
I think I said it earlier, but I want to take care of this today and do the payment that we owe. And then the policy things, as Mr. Whitaker said and Director Mitchell, we can take care of that. And Member Uhajan says she'll take it up appropriately. So,
okay. Now, let's hear from Member Batangan.
Thank you, Chair. So I am comfortable voting on this today. I had reviewed the transmittal from the department. I found it to be one of the more detailed responses I've ever seen from a department to a committee set of questions. And while I didn't go through the tables themselves, I was comfortable with the explanation given as to how the figures were derived. So I don't need to recalculate them on my own to feel comfortable that it is accurately reflected. I am still not happy with the way this all came about, but I think when it comes to the question of do we need to reimburse an overpayment, I am in support of doing so. I would like to separate the question of the policies that allowed for this to happen to whether or not we should carry forth our obligations to reimburse an overpayment. Thank you,
Okay.
Chair.
Now, we haven't heard from Member Sinensi.
Thank you, Chair. I know Ms. Desjardins mentioned Budget Director coming to join. I would like to hear from the Budget Director, Chair.
Okay, that's a new one, a new option. We're going back this way. Member Hodgins.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to echo what Member Batangan said. This is a very detailed letter we got from the Housing Department dated March 12th. And in reading that, I also feel comfortable. I wouldn't mind taking a look at the spreadsheet, but it wouldn't necessarily impact my vote to support this today. Thank you.
Member Cook.
I'm ready to vote on it. I concur with that the policy needs to be looked at. The things that were dysfunctional in this one have been created, have possibly been modified, but we need to focus on it and make sure that it meets current standards and needs. But I feel that this overpayment issue should be put to rest. A tremendous amount of work has been done by the department, finance, a lot of people. And I'd like to clear the deck so that they can focus on all the other things that we have to get done. Thank you.
Yeah, Member Rollins Fernandez?
My preference would be to recommit, Chair. I would like to have all the attachments received. OCS is feverishly looking to see if it was on their end that it didn't come through, but from everything that they're seeing, it was not transmitted to them. I would also like to ensure that our attorneys have a chance to see whatever final spreadsheet, because it sounded like there were multiple spreadsheets, and especially if, it's gonna be said that Corp Counsel agreed with the final decision on what the numbers are, that be confirmed, that she be given an opportunity to see the spreadsheet itself. I understand that the spreadsheet is not confidential and was one of the attachments and was meant for public viewing, and that anything that was intended to be available to the public and for the record be received and put into the record for everyone and anyone to be able to access now and into the future. Mahalo, Chair.
Member Johnson?
Chair, my preference would be to recommit, and I'm curious of why, who or what is filtering our emails to not get everything, especially all the work that the department was put in for answering our questions. Thank you, Chair.
Member Paulton?
Thank you, Chair. My preference would be to recommit, but I would be okay with leaving this on the table, getting all the documents straightened out, posting the documents for everyone to see, and then, just give it a week or whenever our next council meeting is. We can do the work in the meantime. It is concerning. I like math, but I make mistakes all the time, so I just like to recheck the numbers. Math is fun. I don't want anyone to say that it's not. And so, let's all enjoy the fun of recalculation. Thank you.
So, members, I'm thinking that I think Member Paulton's suggestion is a reasonable one, and that it is a compromise, and that we could, wait till the next council meeting to make the decision. But we do have our budget director here. I'm not sure if she could make any difference with what you're going to share with us.
Chair, you forgot the part math is fun.
Yeah, all right.
Math is fun.
Yeah, with more math.
Thank you, Chair. No, I don't know that I have a lot to add to the conversation. I just wanted to be here if you had any questions about it. I did check the original amount of the payments and then the amount of the repayment. I discussed with the Director of Housing, and he explained what happened with the recalculations and things like that. So that's where that amount came from. And
okay.
Yeah, that's all I have to add. Thank you,
So
Chair.
did you see the spreadsheets?
Thank you, Chair. No, I don't have the spreadsheets.
Okay, I guess Director Mitchell will need to check with upstairs to find out what happened to them, and if you can, have them forwarded to the council members as soon as possible today. Can do? Members, is that okay if we agree to postpone this till the next council meeting, lay this on the clerk's table, and in the meantime, try and get as much information that we didn't get that the Director Mitchell thought we got?
Sorry, Chair, for the interruption. Both Mr. Whitaker and I are unavailable the 15th, 16th, and 17th. We're both out of town.
Can you be online?
It is my 60th birthday on the 16th, and I will be traveling.
Oh.
I would love to take a break.
Oh. Okay. Member Cook.
Thank you, Chair. I'm an advocate of voting on this now. I don't know, I'm trying to put into perspective whether the thought is that this wouldn't be paid at all, whether this is an overpayment, whether this is potentially an underpayment. The reason to defer it, to me, we didn't receive all of the information. If they sent it with all the attachments to the administration sent this down to council and didn't send all the attachments. I don't know. I think that we're burning a lot of time. I'd like to focus on all the work that we have to do. Totally on board to address the policy, but this, as far as the reimbursement, are we talking about $1, $10, the whole thing? I think we're losing track of the essence of this particular legislation right now, which is the reimbursement that the housing department has reviewed and has approved.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
That's my 2 cents. Thank you.
I understand what you're saying, and I understand what the other members are saying. But if you're sitting in this chair, you would be thinking about what would be the fairest, solution so that most everybody would feel that they were heard, that most everybody would feel that they are included in the decision.
Fine with me.
Okay. So, members, I know we have a motion on the floor. Can somebody retract that?
So I guess I was going to say, we have a motion on the floor, so we could either take that and vote now. I'd also be open to asking the representatives, I guess from the department and from Kamalani, whether or not they're available at the following meeting. So if they're not here on the 17th, can this be deferred to, I don't know, whatever, is it like
May
the 1st? May 1st? Because, while I'd be open to taking a vote and moving it today, I do recognize my colleagues' hesitation since, there is incomplete information and would just want to check before leaving it on the docket for that much longer. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, that's a good suggestion. There was a thumbs up from both gentlemen to defer this until the 7th, what was it?
The March 1st. No, sorry, May 1st.
May 1st.
So then, yeah. So that would change my thinking, Chair.
Okay.
If they said no, I would have asked for you to call the question. But that being the case, I'd support leaving it on the docket until the meeting after next.
Vice Chair, do you want to withdraw your motion?
That seems like a good compromise.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for your understanding, everybody. Member Cook, withdraw your second. Members, any objections to postponing this item until May 1st, the next council meeting on May 1st? In the meantime, we will rely on these two gentlemen to get the spreadsheets to us as soon as possible. Is there anything else you need from them? Member Rollins-Fernandez.
Mahalo, Chair. Earlier, I made a request to have all the documents on today's
agenda.
On the record for today's meeting. But can I have that request be for the May 1st meeting instead?
Okay.
Since that's when we'll take we'll make a
Moana.
final action.
Okay.
Take final action on it. So.
All right, we'll
the
take care of it.
transmittal and all the attachments when we do receive them.
All right, thank you. So just for clarification, that's going to be the housing director's communication through the mayor's office to council dated March 12th and all of the attachments to that transmittal.
Correct.
Thank
Mahalo,
you.
Deputy Clerk. Mahalo, Chair.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Yes. Member Paulton.
Just want to say I'm getting a lot of text concurring that math is fun.
Yeah. I just have one final question. Mr. Whitaker, why are you going on his trip to celebrate his 60th birthday? Right. All right, members, thank you for your cooperation. We are postponing this item, leaving it on the clerk's desk until May 1st. And in the meantime, we're expecting a lot of information and a revision to the next agenda posting. All right, next item.
Chair, did you want to go back to testimony on any item on the meeting agenda?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just pull up the testifier list. Thank you.
Chair.
Yes.
Can I get a clarification?
Yes.
Because I thought we can't take testimony on all the items after we take testimony on one item. I thought that was what was, and this is not a Rosenberg question. This is a Sunshine Law question, because I've made this request before and I was told no. That's why
Not by me. We've moved things around in the calendar before.
I asked the wrong person.
Yeah.
I should have asked you, Chair.
Yeah, I'm very flexible with you people. Not member, but David.
Thank you, Chair. I think you're okay to proceed as you're planning. I don't recall that guidance that was given to Councilmember Rollins Fernandez. Thank you.
Okay, I'll look it up, but if this is the precedent, then I support this. I just want this to be able to apply to me when I make this request in the future. Mahalo, Chair.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
I'll ask you.
Yeah, ask me in January of next year. Okay, can we call up the testifier, Ms. Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we are moving on to presentation of written or oral testimony on any item on the meeting agenda. The first to testify is Housing Director Remy Mitchell, testifying on Bills 48 and 65. He'll be followed by Greg Puamana.
Thank you, Chair. As you saw there, staff brought over for me all the attachments, so I will hand them to council staff after testimony. Remy Mitchell, Director of Housing, testifying on Bill 48 and Bill 65. Bill 48 is the fee waiver bill, and the department is supportive of fee waivers where for residential workforce housing units that are 100% or less of AMI, they get a full waiver. And for those that are 100% and above to 120, they get a 50% waiver. The limitations on how that is applied relate to the director first having one of the three following things: a residential workforce housing, an appropriation for residential workforce housing project, a grant or loan agreement for the distribution of funds that's fully executed to implement the residential workforce housing project, or that the project developer has developed, signed a residential workforce housing agreement under section 2.96. If one of those three things are in place, then as the director will have discretion to waive the fees itemized in the bill. I'll pause there just in case there are any questions on the department's support on Bill 48.
Well, just for clarifying questions, members, any clarifying questions? No clarifying questions, thank you.
And then finally, on Bill 65, the department is supportive of that bill as we were trying to develop the guidelines for the Molokai deed restriction program. What became clear is that the language in the ordinance was limited to the purchase of new homes, and that the program would be better implemented if it were liberalized to allow for the implementation of the deed restriction program for both the acquisition of a new home and the renovation of homes for existing homeowners. And so that's what Bill 65 does. Thank you.
Okay, any clarifying questions, members? If not, thank you.
And I will hand off the document.
Thank you very much. Ms. Clerk. Next
Thank you, Chair. The next testifier is George Puamana. He's testifying, Greg Puamana. He is testifying on Committee Report 2622, 2624, and Bill 142. And just let us know when you finish with your first item. We'll change the clock.
Okay, I hope to do this all at once. So thank you very much, Council. I know we're not supposed to ask questions, but it is cold in here.
It is. Could you move your microphone closer to you? Yeah.
Hello, it is cold in here. Also, I don't know what committee Councilmember Paulton's Math is Fun is going to go to, but I would like to oppose that when it does come up. So Bill 142, property taxes, as more people are moving in. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm Greg, displaced Lahaina resident and guest in the occupied Kingdom of Hawaii. And I would like to just support Bill 142. As Lahaina residents are moving back in, that's going to be very important to be able to alleviate the tax burden by having that shift. I know that that's coming up today. Also, 2624, sending additional bills from the tax committee, extending the tax relief for the fire victims is very important, as is increasing the exemption amount for long-term rental. And then the final thing I want to talk about is Bill 47, Agenda Item 2622. Parking. If anyone's attended any of the West Maui recovery meetings, parking has been a big deal. This is going to be great. This doesn't affect me personally, but this does affect the community, and I look forward to being able to say to Administrator of Office of Recovery, John Smith, once again, I'd like to talk to you about parking, because it feels like that's constantly happening. I'd like to really take this opportunity to say that the bedrooms, including habitable rooms designed as den, study, office, exercise room, sewing room, loft, playroom, and other similar designations, I hope that that goes more deep into the county code, because we do have Ordinance 5316, which talks about TVRs. And in my community, as we are discussing rebuilds, I've had the opportunity of hearing the architects talk about how they can work out additional bedrooms by designing them as other things, such as a den or an office. So I think it's a great opportunity for the council to be able to say, hey, this, how do we designate within the planning or whatever section it might be, and maybe that there's an opportunity there to extend that definition of what a bedroom is to other ordinances that affect the residential communities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Questions, members? If not, thank you.
Chair, the next testifier is Christopher Salem. Mr. Salem, please let us know which item or items you're testifying on. He'll be followed by Jim Langford. Christopher Salem, you can go ahead and unmute on your end. Chair, we'll return to Mr. Salem. Jim Langford, please go ahead and unmute on your end and let us know which item or items you're testifying on.
Hi, I'm testifying on Bill 50 and all of the other ones, but just to be brief, that's the technology bill, so I believe that's the right number. Long story less long. I've written some great software that can integrate and track and reduce a lot of the time and expenditures. I believe I've provided a pitch deck and a PDF and some more documents today on how it integrates with other departments and creates more momentum for you folks to use the money with your constituents in each of your MOCU or subdivisions. So I did provide that via email, so if you could check your email, I believe you can find it there. And just wanted to let you know that I've submitted by writing. Really good information for it.
Thank you. Questions? If not, next testifier.
Thank you, Chair. We'll return to Christopher Salem. You can go ahead and unmute on your end. I can
I'm
see that
sorry,
you've...
am I unmuted? Am I unmuted at this time?
Yes, you are.
I am. Okay, thank you. I apologize. There's a Supreme Court case going on simultaneously to this hearing, so I'm having to jump back and forth. And ironically, it deals with matters that are on this agenda, and that being, which I'll get to those. So I'll go in specific order of your agenda. First of all, I'd like to also opine on the 2664 that has to deal with congratulating our local wrestlers for winning gold medals. I would state for the record that there is other athletes in Maui County who just won gold medals in other events, one being a Hawaiian boy from Kamehameha Schools who's just been recognized in Sports Illustrated. And I question why, and this is a repeating pattern, what is the process to have these wonderful, wonderful student athletes recognized? That boy is amazing as far as from Kamehameha Schools. So that was never, that has never been addressed along with other ones. So I'm not sure the process on that, but good on them as far as the 3 wrestlers, because I'm deeply involved in the youth program, so I can appreciate their effort. Moving on. Regarding 2622, I'll state for the record, as this is specifically on point to a current letter to the planning department to revoke the SMA permit that was falsified by the Brown development. For the record, no one, planning director, although we speak very highly over at their hearings, has not even had the courtesy to respond to that request. So therefore, that will now escalate to the next level of obviously heading towards judicial intervention. And that's very unfortunate that the citizens are not being supported in on that clear, obnoxious violation. So moving on to the next item. In terms of the ordinance regarding golf courses, I believe that in that effort, we all have to remember, although some people may not be in favor of golf courses, the amount of support that those events such as Century, et cetera, provide to all of our nonprofit agencies is incredible. And all of our children learn valuable lessons that probably should be, maybe everyone here should go through those lessons, that being how the body, meaning the people who are playing in that event, are responsible for making sure everyone follows the rules. That is the value of that particular sport, is it is a self-administering body. Unfortunately, with the intervention, I appreciate what Mr. Johnson said about Corp Council being clear as mud and talking about mistakes and so on. I would hope at some point this body would investigate Corp Councils and their immense amount of losses that they've created through their frivolous defenses of director decisions. So moving on to the last item, actually I see the calling to that Supreme Court issue. The Supreme Court issue that's on point to this testimony I just gave is whether or not the Planning Commission has the right to revoke permits when new evidence comes into play. The Corp Council is defending that right. That right applies to Greg Brown. Last point on property tax classifications. I hope that Councilmember Sugimura, you were following up with $167,000 that I discovered. I spoke to the Director of Finance's office the other day. Unfortunately, even on a matter relating taxation, she informed me very respectfully that Corp Council's advisor that she can't speak with me. That's a violation of whistleblower, federal and state whistleblower laws, but Corp Council continues to act in that manner and nobody holds them to the fire, no pun intended. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Questions, members? If not, thank you. Next.
And Chair, the next testifier is J.C. Law.
Hello again, you guys. Once again, thank you, OEV Resources. I'm speaking on the Olelo Ho'ohiki Kupa'a. Yeah, I was wondering what, heard Mr. Salem say the Supreme Court. I was wondering if, I'm pretty sure he meant the United States. Okay, I'll go in Hawaiian first. And this was from the dictionary again. The ho'okapai ika ho'oponopono ana ike kanavai. That means, in English, obstruct the course of justice. I think about Liliuokalani when I say that. And then on your committee, Chair, the Raptor Committee, Bill 145, I saw in there, it said vacant landowners. I won't get too much into the how I feel personally about that. Other than $50,000, I could probably live for the rest of my life on. But there's really no such thing as a landowner in Hawaii. It's a tenant of the land. The land belongs to Akua.
Okay, no questions.
Chair, there's no one else indicating they wish to testify at the beginning of the meeting on any of the items, so we'll give last call for any testimony at the beginning of the meeting. Chair, seeing none, counting down 3, 2, 1, there's no one else to testify.
Any objections, members, to closing public testimony and accepting written testimony at the beginning of the meeting? So ordered, Ms. Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moving on to testimony on the committee reports. Currently, we have no one signed up to testify on any of the committee reports. We'll give last call, counting down 3, 2, 1. Chair, there's no one indicating they wish to testify in committee reports.
Any objections to closing public testimony and accepting written testimony on committee reports? No objections, so ordered, Ms. Clerk.
Chair, from the Disaster Recovery, International Affairs and Planning Committee is Committee Report 26-22, recommending first reading of Bill 47 CD1 2026 to use the number of bedrooms rather than square footage to determine the minimum number of off-street parking spaces for dwelling units used for housing.
Member Paulton.
I move to adopt the recommendations in CR 26-22.
Moved by Member Paulton, seconded by Member Hodgins, to approve the recommendations in Committee Report 2622. Discussion. Member Paulton.
Thank you, Chair. Your committee met on March 11, 2026 to discuss Bill 47. The Council adopted Resolution 25-152 on July 25, 2025, which will forwarded a proposed bill to the Planning Commission to amend off-street parking requirements for housing. The Department of Planning recommended 6 modifications to the bill. The Lanai and Maui Planning Commissions approved the proposed bill with all modifications but 1. The Molokai Planning Commission approved the proposed bill with all modifications. Bill 47 incorporates some of the modifications recommended by the department. 2 modifications to increase the setback for a garage or carport and to amend the definition of dwelling unit. Well, we have no problem with, should be addressed in separate legislation with titles accurately reflecting those actions. The planning representative noted that several factors contribute to residential parking issues: inadequate multimodal transportation, limited on-street parking availability, multifamily housing being developed with single-family parking standards, and reduced parking requirements from the past. Your committee amended Bill 47 to insert an exception for off-street parking requirements for dwelling units with 4 or more bedrooms when the width of roadways fronting the dwelling unit allows 2 lanes of traffic flow and parking on each side of the roadway. Delete the homeowners association and 50-foot right-of-way exceptions for off-street parking requirements. Require an accessory dwelling to provide the same minimum number of off-street parking spaces as a single-family dwelling and eliminate parking spaces for a wet bar. Your committee expressed support for Bill 47 as amended to address inadequate on-site parking issues while improving public safety in neighborhoods. Under the county charter, the council may pass the proposed amendment under Bill 47 even though it does not incorporate all of the Planning Commission's recommendations with at least 2/3 of the entire council membership. On a separate note, this is about getting ahead of the problem before we allow all these people to park on the street and then get into the problem of fire engines being able to come in while people flee simultaneously. So it's kind of a safety issue, but trying to address the issue before it occurs. And this is something that, the Lahaina community members have been asking for strongly since after the fire, because they lived those exact situations, and we don't want anyone else in the county to have to go through that. So I respectfully ask for the members' support of my motion. Thank you.
Member Batangan.
Thank you, Chair. So in committee, I was the lone dissenting vote, and unfortunately, I'm still there. While I understand the intent of the bill and support its goal of ensuring our streets are clear and safe, I don't believe that increasing parking minimums for new homes is the appropriate policy prescription for this problem. I believe people park their cars on the street because homes in Maui County are unaffordable, forcing more people into homes than those homes are designed to accommodate. And I worry that this bill will increase the cost of housing and reduce the availability of land for more housing and other community needs, which will exacerbate the problem rather than solve the issue of illegal street parking. Right now, I would rather focus on enforcement, creating public parking or paid parking in problem areas, and would want to invest in better public transit and bike and pedestrian infrastructure in our neighborhoods. I am still open to this, and I did not follow up with the Department of Housing as I had hoped to. It slipped my mind. Is it possible to ask that this committee report be transmitted to the Department of Housing for comment prior to second reading?
Sure.
Thank you, staff. So I guess right now I'm a no, but I am open to changing my position if, I'm able to hear if my concerns related to the cost of housing is appeased by the Department of Housing. I might change my mind before second reading. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, anybody else? Discussion?
I just want to clarify, that's not me. Somebody's going to do that, but not me, right?
No, not you.
Okay, but somebody else.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not familiar with how this works in full council.
I'm going to ask Ryan.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
Thank you, members.
All right. All right, any more discussion? Member Cook.
I voted for it I with reservations. I'll still vote for it, but I concur with my colleague that I think that it's going to have negative repercussions. The challenge, I think I said this during committee, the challenge is what we're having is we don't have enough parking for the houses are being overpopulated because of a lot of sub-rentals, et cetera, et cetera. So this bill for health and safety makes a lot of sense, but I think that it's going to be in conflict with our everyday lives of where we live. So I would be in conflict every day with this. Thank you.
You park on the street?
I park on the street, and about 150 of my 300 neighbors do. 150 homes. I think every home has at least one car on the street because there's a car in the garage, 2 cars in the driveway, blah, blah, blah. So, but I understand the intent that this was brought forward. So anyway, I voted for it before. I'll vote for it again, but it's there again with reservations. I concur that addressing this issue would be prudent. Thank you.
Okay. Member Paulton.
I just want to say the lot I live on is less than 7,000 square feet. We have parking for at least 7 vehicles off street. For folks like Member Cook, if we went the enforcement route, he would be getting enforced on every day. There's no other option. And then he could probably pay the bill, or he couldn't pay the bill. So then, we'd have to bail him out of jail, bench warrant or something. So, enforcement is ideal, but it's not ideal for the people with no other option. And I'm not sure the changing costs when you go vertical, but vertical is an option which would allow people to have the off-street parking on site. That's my house. The parking is under the house. So, it may cost more to go vertical, but you can still provide the parking, and you still have, and then you would also have the safety. And this is an issue that gives people in my community like PTSD when they see all the cars on both sides of the street. just recently in my neighborhood, someone passed away. They came in with 6 police cars, an ambulance, a fire engine, and we were blocked in. Like, we couldn't leave our house. So it's a real problem, whether it's a fire, whether it's just a 911 call. If people are parking on the street, you become trapped in your own neighborhood when there's not adequate parking. So there's a lot of issues, but I think being proactive in this is the way to address it, and going vertical is allowed. And so I think that is the solution for folks with large bedroom or large number of bedrooms.
Yeah, well, the problem is a lot of older neighborhoods do as you do, because in today's world, they have what is called HOAs, and you have rules and restrictions, and, homeowners associations do not allow for on-street parking, period. And so in people like me, always has company, family, we knew that was going to happen. So where our front yard was supposed to be, that's where parking is on our property. So, but unfortunately, not everybody has that opportunity, especially if you have an existing, house from 30 years ago or something. 30? Oh, 40, okay. Yeah, this is a difficult issue, but any more discussion? Vice Chair Sugimura.
So I guess similarly what I said when this came up, but there's a house that's right on Wakea that it was like one house falling apart, and it got recently purchased. It's now a mega mansion. I look forward to see what's, I of course we all know why, right? It's we have a housing shortage, and where are all these cars going to park? So I'm watching it, but I appreciate what Member Batangan has recommended, and look forward to hearing what the housing department will say about this. I hope Remy will be around, because I think he's traveling. Just kidding. But I look forward to learning how they can recommend solving this thing. Thank you.
Member Batangan.
Thank you, Chair. I want to be clear. I offered 3 policy prescriptions. The first one was enforcement, but there were 2 others that I mentioned. One was to create public parking and paid parking options, and the other was to invest in better public transit and bike and pedestrian infrastructure. I'm not proposing that we leave people high and dry without a place to put their car. And I do still want to pursue those other 2 options as well, because I think that they will help to address the issue too. I don't want the record to be distorted to say that I'm just going to be asking that we go ticket Councilmember Cook every day until he cannot pay, and then we got to go bail him out of jail.
Oh, shucks, I was already preparing for that. I was going to do a Lau sale for him. Okay, any more discussion? Member Hodgins.
Thank you, Chair. This council, in the last 3 years I've been here, has done so many interesting things, but none has had a council member be arrested. So luckily we won't do that. But in reading the bill, when I supported it in DRIP, it does primarily target those homes with many, many bedrooms. Your average everyday house isn't going to be primarily affected by the additional parking. It is for the larger homes that should accommodate more people and thus should provide more parking. It's not going to be retroactively enforced in Member Cook's neighborhood or even the neighborhood I grew up in. But after hearing Lahaina's struggles with trying to flee and evacuate safely after the fire, it is something we need to consider. After the fire we had in Paia, it is something we need to consider. As you said, Chair, many of our older neighborhoods are like this because we didn't need to primarily only concern ourselves with parking. It was mainly for housing. And now we live in a world where we need to drive, less walking. I'm definitely somebody who needs to walk more, so I get it. But it is something we do need to consider for the safety of everyone and find the balance. And I do think this tries to find a good balance. I do understand Member Batangan's concern, but I'm comfortable with this, and I do appreciate the time to speak in my support. Thank you.
Okay, any more discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Sinensi,
Aye.
Councilmember Hodgins,
Aye.
Councilmember Cook,
Aye.
Councilmember Alice Fernandez,
Aye.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Paulton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sugimura,
Aye with reservations.
Councilmember Batangan,
No.
Chair Lee.
Aye.
Chair, there are 8 ayes, 1 no, motion carries.
Thank you, member.
Okay, Mr. Ratz, oh, he's not there. Who's going to take care of contacting Director Mitchell? Yeah, we heard, not you. Just one, is it OCC or OCS?
Generally, it would be OCES.
Okay, can you remind David then?
Yes, we will.
He's not here. Okay, all right, next item.
Chair, from the Housing and Land Use Committee is Committee Report 26-23, recommending first reading of Bill 28 CD1 2026 to approve a request by Andrea M. Cayo as trustee of the Andrea M. Cayo Trust dated October 15th, 2023, and as trustee of the Glavin K. Cayo Trust dated December 8th, 2023, to create additional lots for family members on agricultural district property comprising 12.834 acres at 201 He'ahea Place, Wailuku, Hawaii, previously subdivided into the maximum number of lots permitted under section 19.30A.030 Maui County Code.
Member Hodgins.
Thank you, Chair. I move to adopt the recommendation in CR 26-23.
Second.
Moved by Member Hodgins, seconded by Member Paulton, to approve the recommendations in Committee Report 2623. Discussion, Member Hodgins.
Thank you, Chair. And Bill 28 CD1 would grant approval for the Kai'o family to subdivide their property at 201 He'ahea Place in Wailuku. The property was previously subdivided into the maximum number of lots, but the code allows for further subdivision with council's approval if the additional lots are for family members. The Kai'os intend to subdivide the property into 4 lots and transfer one of each of the lots to their 3 children, which are school teaching women. We love to hear it. This means eventually the children and their families will be able to live near and support Mr. and Mrs. Kai'o as they age and support each other. Given the housing opportunity this would create for the Kai'o Ohana, your committee voted unanimously to recommend approval of this bill, and I respectfully ask and thank the members for their support in this motion. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion, raise your hand. Say aye. 9 ayes, 0 noes. Motion carries. Ms. Clerk.
Chair, from the Special Committee on Real Property Tax Reform are the following. CR 2624, recommending referral of bills to the Budget, Finance, and Economic Development Committee, including one, Bill 110, 2025, entitled A Bill for an Ordinance amending Section 3.48.361 Maui County Code relating to real property dedicated as Aina Kupuna to limit eligibility for Aina Kupuna real property tax relief to properties that qualify by January 1st, 2026. 2, Bill 112, 2025, entitled A Bill for an Ordinance amending Chapter 3.48 Maui County Code relating to golf course assessment to revise real property tax assessments for golf courses. 3, Bill 114, 2025, entitled A Bill for an Ordinance to amend Chapter 3.48 Maui County Code relating to the real property tax assessment of non-taxable property to clarify that vacant Section 207 leasehold land leased under Section 207 of the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act 1920 as amended is exempt from real property tax, including the minimum tax, and to limit tax on Section 207 improvements to the minimum tax. 4, Bill 143, 2025, entitled A Bill for an Ordinance amending Section 3.48.305 Maui County Code to establish the vacant residential real property tax classification, to establish a vacant residential real property tax classification for unimproved residential and rural parcels without agricultural activity. 5, Bill 144, 2025, entitled A Bill for an Ordinance amending Chapter 3.48 Maui County Code, extending Maui wildfires real property tax relief, to extend Maui Maui wildfire real property tax relief for eligible Lahaina properties. Bill 145, 2025, entitled a bill for an ordinance adding a new section to Chapter 3.48 Maui County Code establishing an exemption for vacant landowners on the Upcountry Water Service Priority List, to establish a real property tax exemption for up to $50,000 for vacant upcountry parcels on the Water Service Priority List. 7 Bill 146, 2025, entitled a bill for an ordinance amending Section 3.48.410 Maui County Code on the principal home exemptions application deadlines to allow the home exemption to apply to the next tax payment if the claim is filed by December 31st or June 30th. And Bill 181, 2025, entitled a bill for an ordinance amending Chapter 3.48 Maui County Code, increasing the amount of the home and long-term rental exemptions from real property tax to increase the home and long-term rental exemption amounts from real property tax.
Member Rollins Fernandez.
Mahalo, Chair. I move to adopt the recommendations in CR 26-24.
Second.
Moved by Member Rollins Fernandez, seconded by Vice Chair Sugimura, to approve the recommendations in Committee Report 2624. Discussion, Vice Chair of the committee. Rollins Fernandez.
The committee is recommending referral of the 8 active bills listed in Exhibit A to Budget, Finance, and Economic Development Committee. This is necessary because, sadly, our Special Committee on Real Property Tax Reform ended on March 27th. Can you please pass the Kleenex? 2026, thank you. And our Budget, Finance, and Economic Development Committee has jurisdiction over real property tax matters. I respectfully ask the members for their support of the motion.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Say aye. 9 ayes, 0 noes. Motion carries. Ms. Clerk.
Chair, we're now on resolutions. There is no one currently signed up to testify, so this is last call. If there is anyone who would like to testify, this is your opportunity. And the countdown is 3, 2, 1. Chair, there's no one indicating a desire to testify.
Any objections to closing public testimony and accepting written testimony on resolutions? No objections, so ordered. Ms. Clerk.
Chair, before you is Resolution 2662, authorizing additional compensation related to the employment of Special Counsel ES&A Inc., a law corporation in Alexa Jacobs versus Clifton Pereira et al., civil case 2CCV 23-00000185.
Member Batangan.
Chair, I move to adopt Resolution 2662.
Moved by Member Batangan, seconded by Member Uhuhajens, to adopt Resolution 2662. Discussion, Member Batangan.
Thank you, Chair. Resolution 2662 authorizes the additional compensation for special counsel for ongoing discovery, depositions, motions, responses, and other court findings and court requirements, trial preparation, and trial as it relates to this case. By Resolution 23205, the council authorized the employment of special counsel in this case, and by Resolution 24120, the council authorized raising special counsel's compensation limit for an additional $125,000 for a total compensation not to exceed $175,000 at the request of the Department of Corporation Counsel. Then, by Resolution 2517, the council, also at the request of the Department of Corporation Counsel, authorized raising the compensation limit for special counsel by an additional $155,000 for a total compensation not to exceed $330,000. The request in this resolution now seeks to raise the compensation limit for special counsel by an additional $475,000 for a total compensation not to exceed $805,000. Floor action is being requested because the latest invoice for this is for more than the existing compensation limit that has been set. I'd like to remind the department that Section 912 of the Charter prohibits obligations from being incurred against the county outside of duly made obligations, and kindly ask that in the future, the council be given more notice that retainers are getting depleted and additional compensation may be necessary. Thank you, Chair.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Say aye. 9 ayes, 0 noes. Motion carries. Ms. Clerk.
Chair, before you is Resolution 2665, appointing Gian Lubos to the Commission on Children and Youth.
Member Batangan.
This is Member Johnson, Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry. Member Johnson.
Thank you, Chair. I move to adopt Resolution 26-65.
Second.
Moved by Member Johnson, seconded by who? Vice Chair Sugimura. Okay. To adopt Resolution 26 65, discussion, Member Johnson.
Thank you, Chair. Resolution 26-65 appoints Gian Lubos to the Commission on Children and Youth for a term commencing upon the resolution's approval and expiring March 31st, 2028, under Section 2.41.050 Maui County Code. A vacancy was created on the Commission on Children and Youth December 17, 2023, with the resignation of Alma Tassi. As a result, a long-term vacancy, which can be now filled under Section 2.41.050 Maui County Code, was created following the transaction to the Independent Nomination Board and new procedures under Section 13-2 of the Charter. Code Section 2.41.050 allows the council and the mayor alternating 30-day opportunities to make a unilateral appointment to fill long-term vacancies when Charter Section 13-2 does not provide another mechanism. That said, the council has until April 8th, 2026 to make a unilateral appointment and fill this vacant seat. I am nominating Gian Lubos, a 15-year-old freshman at Lanai High in elementary school and a rising leader in the Lanai community. Ms. Lubos was recommended by a teacher who recognized her initiative and passion for community work. Thank you, Ms. Bolo. She's a great community advocate, which includes involvement with clubs, students, council, event planning, volunteerism, and early college courses. I think it's time that we have young people on our Commission on Children and Youth so that we can be informed by the lived experience of younger generations and learn about the issues facing the children and youth of Maui County. This can help us be more responsive to the needs of our young people, who, as we know, are the future of this community, yet we're losing too many to brain drain and out-migration. By appointing a youth member, we not only broaden our perspectives and learn about new solutions, we can also send a message to our young people that this community is theirs as well, and their opinions are valued and worthy of consideration in government. We can use this opportunity to train our young people in the processes of local government so more can be inspired and prepared to take their leadership roles. I respect for the members' full support of my motion. I respectfully ask for the full, I didn't say I expect you, but you know, are you best? I'm sorry.
Okay, it's getting late. All right. Any more discussion? Vice Chair Sugimura.
I support this. It's exciting. I hope that we provide him if he needs travel, or I'm sure they could do all the meetings online, but maybe he will, it's a her, oh, sorry. Maybe she will show up on April 15th when we're on Lanai for our deliberation, our district meeting. So we'd love to meet her. Thank you.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Say aye. 9 ayes, 0 noes. Motion carries. Ms. Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moving on to ordinances. Currently, we have, no one signed up to testify on the ordinances on today's agenda. So we'll go ahead and give last call for anyone wishing to testify on ordinances. Chair seeing none, counting down 3, 2, 1, no one to testify on ordinances.
Any objections to closing public testimony and accepting written testimony on ordinances? So ordered, Ms. Clerk.
Chair, before you is Bill number 65, 2026, a bill for an ordinance amending Section 3.34.020 Maui County Code to qualify existing homeowners in the voluntary deed restriction program.
Member Rollins Fernandez.
Mahalo, Chair. I move to pass Bill 65, 2026 on first reading.
Second.
Moved by Member Rollins Fernandez, seconded by Member Sinensi to pass Bill 65 on first reading. Discussion, Member Rollins Fernandez.
Mahalo, Chair. Okay, so you just received the ASF. I will explain the bill first, and then I'll make the motion to substitute the bill for the signed bill. All right. Okay. Bill 65 intends to amend section of the code to ensure that, as you heard from Housing Director Mitchell, that it'll ensure that not just potential first-time buyers, but also existing homeowners are able to take advantage of the voluntary deed restriction program that we established last year during budget. As opposed to receiving a capital contribution towards the price of a home, existing homeowners would have access to grants to make improvements to their home. Bill 65 would also enable existing homes to be converted to deed-restricted properties to be preserved for residents and workforce. Okay. As Director Mitchell explained, in committee. They were ready to announce the start of the launch of the program on March 31st and hit a snag, and I will take responsibility for that. I watched the meeting where we passed it on first reading, and I remember that we weren't able to put my condition for this pilot program for Molokai only, the $500,000 to establish the program, without amending this section to acknowledge that a voluntary deed restriction program could be funded through this homeowner revolving fund. On April 23rd, 2025, I stated that on Molokai, the way that we do housing is by building on lots we already have, by extending and modifying the houses that we currently have, our existing stock, to do repairs, extensions, improvements. You know, their growing family will be able to, have a place to live nearby. And so the deed restriction program that I would be working with our housing department and director on would kind of follow the program like Eagle County's Good Deeds program. So that was last April 23rd. And we, Mahalo members, for quickly getting the bill through then. So this amendment would follow the intention that I stated on April 23rd, 2025, but didn't end up putting into the code. And so I call on my member Batangan for doing committee work on the floor, but here we are. And in order to get the program launched as I had intended, this needs to, we need to pass it today and then second reading on April 17th so that we can launch the program and get it started before the end of the fiscal year on June 30th. Mahalo, Chair.
Any more discussion on the original motion? So you're not going to make an amendment? No.
Oh, I figure, so I watched the meeting the last time, and then there was discussion on whether we would pass the motion to substitute with the signed version, or we would wait for the main motion. So I figure I just let everyone discuss it now, and if everyone's good with moving forward, then I would make the motion to
Is everybody
substitute.
good with moving forward? Everybody
Good.
says yes.
I move to amend Bill 65, 2026 by replacing the bill with the attached proposed FD1 version.
Second.
Moved by Member Rollins Fernandez, seconded by Member Senensi, to replace what's before you with what was just passed out, the ASF. Discussion, Member Rollins Fernandez.
No further discussion, Chair. Mahalo to
Anybody
for
else?
council for getting this back
Anybody
to me so
else?
quickly.
If not, all those in favor of the amendment, the ASF, please raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
All ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Now the motion as amended, the main motion as amended. All those in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Okay. Good luck with your program, and I hope it has
Mahalo,
better
Chair.
luck than the Ohana Assistance Program. Okay, Ms. Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moving on to the ordinances for second and final reading. Before you is Bill 142, CD1 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending Chapter 3.48 Maui County Code on the home exemption from real property tax.
Member Paulton.
I move to pass Bill 142 CD1 2025 on second and final reading.
Moved by Member Paulton, seconded by Vice Chair Sugimura to pass Bill 142, CD1 2025 on second and final reading. Discussion, Member Paulton.
This ordinance purpose is to adjust the home exemption filing deadline so claimants who file their applications by December 31st or June 30th will receive the exemption on their next tax payment. I know it's not where we wanted our end goal on this to be, but just a reminder that baby steps forward are still steps forward. I'll ask for the members' support of my motion. Thank you.
Thank you. You were the mathematician, now you want to be the philosopher. Okay, very good. Any more discussion? No discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand and say aye. 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Ms. Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before you is Bill 30, 2026, a bill for an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2026 budget, increase estimated revenues, carryover savings, general fund by $3.5 million. Department of Finance countywide class, increase appropriation for transfer to the general excise tax fund by $3.5 million. Appendix A, Part 2, general excise tax fund, increase the appropriation for Central Valley Regional Wastewater Reclamation Facility in Waikapu by $3.5 million. And Appendix C, Department of Environmental Management, Wailuku Kahului Community Plan Area, increase the appropriation for Central Maui Regional WWRF Waikapu by $3.5 million.
Vice Chair Sugimura.
Thank you. Chair, if there are no objections, may I please request this bill be tabled until the next regular council meeting?
Any objections, members?
I'll tell you
Okay,
why.
you want to explain why?
Yeah. The wrong version of the bill was inadvertently posted on today's agenda. Oh my, and this is one of my 3.5 million that I put in years ago. But tabling today will allow us to consider the correct version of at the next meeting. It's so funny.
Okay, very good, I think. So that will be tabled, this matter will be tabled to the April 17th meeting.
Thank you.
No objections, so ordered, Ms. Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. Before you is Bill 48, FD1, 2026, a bill for an ordinance amending Titles 2, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20 Maui County Code on fee waivers for affordable housing.
Member Paulton. Oh, this is a...
I move to pass Bill 48, FD1, 2026 on second and final reading.
Moved by Member Paulton, seconded by Member Johnson to pass Bill, was it 48, FD1, 2026 on second and final reading. Member Paulton, discussion.
Oh, you made a substitution for me? Okay. I move to replace Bill 48 FD1 2026 with Chair Lee's amendments or reform that was distributed at today's meeting and suspend Rule 19 of the Rules of the Council to allow final action at the same meeting as the amendment.
Second.
Moved by Member Paulton, seconded by Member Johnson to replace Bill 48 FD1 2026 with the distributed ASF. Discussion, Member Paulton.
Sure thing. The proposed FD2 version makes technical amendments for consistency, clarity, and accuracy, and is approved as to form and legality by the Department of Corporation Counsel. It just corrects Ramsey formatting in sections 13 and 14 of the bill, and now you guys got one signature from Corp Counsel. So I ask for the members' support of my motion. Thank you.
Any more discussion? Member Batangan.
Yes, Chair. Can I ask for a quick recess so I can read this ASF? I've been having to vote without being able to. When things are handed out at the meeting and we're asked to, quickly take a look at them.
Yeah, sure. I mean, usually there's a few lines, but this one is a few
This one's
pages.
a little bit more than that. Can I ask
know.
for a couple minutes to read this
Chair.
before we
Okay,
vote on it?
one second. Yes, Rollins Fernandez.
Mahalo,
member.
Chair. I understand that this is a long bill, but Member Paulton said that it's just a correction to
Section 13 and 14, yeah.
Ramsey formatting. So not all of it, just 13 and 14. And that's also why I requested that whenever the ASFs are given to us on the floor, that they be highlighted, because it's hard to know what the amendments are when everything's Ramseyed for the bill itself and not.
Okay, who failed to highlight this? David?
No.
There's like this one.
David, did somebody forget to highlight the relevant section?
Clarify it's Chair Lee's
David?
substitution.
Thanks, Chair. Yes, we can make that part of our normal process. To this point, it's been kind of an ad hoc feature of ASS, but if we want to make that consistent, we can do that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it might be easier for people to read. Thank you. All right.
Chair,
yes.
I don't oppose taking a recess.
Yeah, let's take a recess and then let's come back and finish the work, okay, so we don't have to take lunch. All right. Till, let's say, 7 minutes, is that enough?
How about 3?
Why three?
Six.
Okay, 6, 11:50, okay?
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. Thank you,
Meeting in
members.
recess till 11:50. For the April 2nd council meeting, please return to order. It is 11:55. And Ms. Clerk, let's pick it up where we left off.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You are considering an amendment to Bill 48, FD1, made by Member Paulton.
Member Paulton, discussion.
Thank you, Chair Lee, for submitting this ASF and clarifying that we're going to highlight in the future. Good job, everyone. Are we almost done? Okay, go ahead.
Good. Any questions, any more discussion? If not, all those in favor of the amendment, raise your hands. Say aye. All ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Now the main motion as amended. Raise your hand, say aye. 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Ms. Clerk.
Chair, before you is Bill 50, 2026, a bill for an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2026 budget, Department of Human Concerns Program Grants and Disbursements for Health, Human Services, and Education. Delete the conditional language for Maui Rescue Mission, Inc. for $200,000. Reduce houseless programs by the same amount. Increase appropriation for Maui Adult Daycare Centers by $50,000. And add conditional language for the Halehulu Mamo Senior Center, Hana, for $50,000. Add new appropriations for Hana Makamai, Inc. for $50,000, and Project Vision Hawaii for $50,000. And grants and disbursements for youth centers and programs, increase appropriation for Hana Youth Center, Inc. by $50,000.
Member Sinensi.
Mahalo, Chair. I move to pass Bill 50, 2026 on second and final reading.
Moved by Member Sinensi, seconded by Vice Chair Sugimura. To pass Bill 50, 2026 on second and final reading. Discussion, Member Sinensi.
Mahalo, members. Bill 50 amends the fiscal year 26 budget by deleting the conditional language for Maui Rescue Mission, Inc. and reducing houseless programs by $200,000. The $200,000 would be reallocated with $50,000 each going to Maui Adult Care Center for the Halehulu Mamo Senior Center, Ohana Makamai, Inc., Project Vision, and the Hana Youth Center. Members, this may seem like an insignificant amount for the work that is required to submit applications, but it just goes to show how significant federal cuts have been for small rural communities like ourselves. We appreciate the administration for this budget amendment and the department for considering this amendment, and we ask for your full support. Mahalo.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Ms. Clerk.
Mahalo.
Chair, before you is Bill 51, 2026, a bill for an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2026 budget, Office of the Mayor, Economic Development Program Grants and Disbursements for Business Development and Technology, decrease technology and business promotion by $180,000. Department of Human Concerns Program Grants and Disbursements for youth centers and programs, increase Boys and Girls Clubs of Maui, Inc., located on Molokai by $180,000.
Vice Chair Sugimura.
I want to make the motion, but does Member Rollins Fernandez want to do it?
I move to pass Bill 51, 2026 on second and final reading.
Second.
Moved by Member Rollins Fernandez, seconded by Vice Chair Sugimura to pass Bill 51, 2026 on second and final reading. Discussion, Member Rollins Fernandez.
Mahalo, Chair. Mahalo, members, again, for your full support on first reading. Mahalo again to our Budget Director and Mayor for getting this on the agenda so quickly, and to the Parks Department and Corp Council for getting us the facility back. Boys and Girls Club are there right now, checking out the site, and I can't wait to share with you when we will be opening for business or opening the youth center again.
Very
so,
good.
Mahalo again, members, for all of your support.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand, say aye. 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Ms. Clerk.
Chair, before you is Bill 52, 2026, a bill for an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2026 budget, Office of the Mayor Economic Development Program Grants and Disbursements for Business Development and Technology, Kahului Economic Development, Environmental and Cultural Programs, updating the conditional language for Friends of Maui Waina Intermediate School for the Falcon Entertainment and Engineering Program to Maui AIDS Foundation and Wailuku Economic Development, Environmental and Cultural Programs, updating the conditional language for the cleanup and monthly maintenance of the Old Wailuku Cemetery to Maui AIDS Foundation.
Member Batangan.
Thank you, Chair. I move to pass Bill 52, 2026 on second and final reading.
Second.
Moved by Member Batangan, seconded by Vice Chair Sugimura to pass Bill 52, 2026 on second and final reading. Discussion, Member Batangan.
Thank you, Chair. Bill 52 amends the FY26 budget to update the conditional language for the cleanup and the monthly maintenance of the Old Wailuku Cemetery to Maui AIDS Foundation. These funds will be used for events during Pride Month, including the Maui Pride Festival on Market Street. I respectfully ask for the members' support of my motion. Thank you, Chair.
Any more discussion? Yes, Vice Chair Sugimura.
I support this, and I just want to acknowledge really the amazing work of Linda Pupolo, who has been the executive director and done a lot of community things, and I appreciate her energy, and thank you very much, Member Batangan, for doing this.
No, that'll be me.
Oh, that will be you? Okay, both of you. They look alike?
Yeah, except I'm more handsome. Okay, everybody. Last chance for discussion. If not, all those in favor, raise your hand, say aye. 9 ayes, 0 noes. Motion carries, and that brings us to the end of the calendar. Yeah, and so, any last comments? Oh, too late.
Member
Oh,
Uhajins.
remember, what are we having for dinner tonight?
We're ordering Tin Roof. My staff should have worked with your peoples. My people should have talked to your peoples and got your order, and we will be eating Tin Roof. See you in Paia. Drive safely.
Is that the one with the shrimp?
Yeah.
That was a choice.
Yeah, yeah. Is that what you got?
Yeah.
There you go. You got shrimp then, Chair. Yeah, chicken shrimp. Huh? Dinner probably 5-ish, and then we'll talk to the residents around 6-ish.
So did you like bake something for us for dessert?
I was until this meeting went too long.
That's Rollins Fernandez. Okay. We'll
members.
see you all. Yes.
So
Vice
I just want all the members to know that I have asked for police to be at all the district meetings, just in case, that we never know who's going to, whatever, for your safety and for the community's safety. Thank you.
Okay, that's good. Taking extra precaution. Well, thank you, everybody. We'll see you tonight, and this meeting is adjourned.